Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm using a new set of a mic and earphones, so I'm hoping the sound quality is okay. I'm also hoping the video quality will be okay this morning, as we have quite a storm here in Ferns in County Wexford. So, what I'm going to talk about this morning mainly is um, so a few weeks ago about helping teens, and the word yet, which is an important word when you're trying to get them to work in terms of academic things or any skill that they're learning, that they use this word, I'm not good at it yet. So remember that word from the last time we spoke. So my blog is on general learning disabilities, and if it's very detailed, it's very long. So go check it out. It does define each of the different types of general learning disabilities, and part of that is also a section on helping your child. So don't forget, the assessments officer is now part of the HSC. If you're in Ireland, and they are responsible for getting an assessment done of your child. So if you go on to www.hsc.ie, you can access that information there and find your local assessment officer, and they are responsible for getting your child. You can also get your child assessed through the principal in the school, and they should be able to help you out with a number of things in that regard, in assessment. So building, I'm going to go ahead and say good morning. I'm Deborah Byrne for DB Psychology across the net, and I'm just going to talk about it now. I will be glancing over at my notes. As I said before, I haven't got a marvelous brain, so I can't keep all the information in my brain. Do need to look things up, do need to remember things. Wish I had one of these photographic memories, but I don't. So building self-confidence in teens now, or in children, sorry. So the first thing I would say to you, no matter whether your child has a disability or not, it is important to build their self-confidence. Always is your primary goal. It was one of the goals that I set myself when my children were diagnosed with a disability, and it was a piece of advice I was given when my first child was diagnosed. Was my job was primarily to build their self-confidence, not just go fight for their rights and entitlements, always do that, but to build their self-confidence. So I would say get down and look at life from their point of view. So try and see life through their eyes. That would be my first point to make. If you can do that, then you can see maybe what difficulties they're having, and you would very, very, very importantly, and I can't emphasize this enough, you always work to build their strengths. So when you get a report done, or if you haven't got a report done on your child, as I said, this is for disabled children and non-disabled children, that you would look at their strengths and see what they're really good at. And it doesn't have to be academic. It doesn't have to be, we're not all going to have doctors and lawyers and whatever you want to call, our jobs that we all think, oh, our children are going to be. Whatever it is, they could be really talented. As I said, it could be in a sport, it could be in art, it could be in music, wherever it is they are talented in. Those are the skills you encourage. Those are the ones that you use to build their self-confidence. It's a great tool to build their self-confidence. Now, when they're very, very small, obviously you're not going to know what they're good at. Toddlers always love to be helped. So encourage them to help you around the house. Even from the time they're toddlers, they can help. They can help you load a machine, they can help you load a dishwasher, they can help. Encourage them as much as possible to take part in doing some chores around the house and in the garden, because you're also giving them life skills. Always use it as a learning tool, always use it as a way to promote their self-esteem, their self-confidence. So in terms of communication, what I would say to you is always be respectful when you're communicating with them. You want them to respect you, so you need them to see that modelled in you. I've said this before. You need to model what you want in them. You need to model that behaviour, and in doing that, you need to be respectful in your communication. Always answer their questions, and don't interrupt them when they're speaking. Allow them. I mean, you wouldn't like it if somebody kept interrupting you every time you tried to make a point. As an adult, and you can take it from another adult probably. So think about it from their point of view. If they want to get out what they need to get out in whatever form of communication they're using, and very stressful at times for a child with disability. And for a child that's very young and can't communicate properly, that they have time to communicate with you. So you need to allow them to communicate in the best way they can to you, and give them time to do that, and don't interrupt them. Don't try and interpret things for them or speak for them. Let them say it themselves. Let them say it in their own way first and foremost, and then if you need to, if you're dealing with other adults, then you can step in and say, well, this is what he said, or this is what she said, or this is what they meant. So, think about how you're going to communicate with your kids. It's very, very important. Now, all kids, no matter their age, need you as the parent, need your undivided attention. So if you can, give your children a one-to-one time. Now, if you have a larger family, or more than one child, it will be difficult to give them one-to-one time. So perhaps you can have once a fortnight, or you rotate it. That one night in the week, or one night every fortnight, or whatever, or once a week. It depends on how many children you have, of course. You give them that time, one-to-one with you. That's all they want. They want your love. They want your affection. They want to know they're special in your eyes. So the best way to do that, in fact, is to give them some one-to-one time, so that they can see that they are special to you, and that you have respect for them, and you love their interests. So again, go to games, go to their recitals, whatever it is they're doing. You need to be there. You need to make sure that you are at these things, and that they see, oh yeah, they respect what I'm doing. They really think I'm good at this, and that you are there for them. So now, the one thing I would always, and I've mentioned it several times in the blog this week, was to say that all children have strengths. I don't care who they are. They all have strengths, and you need to play up those. And I've said it already at the beginning of the video. You need to play up those strengths. You need to accept them and love them for who they are. Any child, every child needs that. Doesn't matter how old they are, even if they're adult children, they need to feel that their parents still love and accept them for who they are. This is a surefire way to get them their confidence built. So let me see what else I want to make. Yeah, sorry about this. Told you, my brain. It's early in the morning, and my brain can turn off sometimes. So how can you help them again build their self-confidence? I would say that you can give them a chance to contribute. So again, going back to contribute conversations, contribute, by playing games with them, contribute by having a family night, they pick the video, contribute by helping with the cooking, helping with the cleaning, helping with gardening, anything like that, and thank them for their contribution. No matter how small, how big, whatever it is they did, always thank them for their contribution. Any mistakes that they make, and you should always allow your children to make mistakes. Age appropriate, of course, and you're going to have to know your own child's abilities here. Make sure that they are when they make these mistakes that they do suffer the consequences. And this is why I'm saying age appropriate. And use it as a learning tool. Okay, so if they do make a mistake, it's seen as a learning tool. It's not seen as something that's very, very bad, and that when you're disciplining them, that you do so from a place of love and not from a place of humiliation. Never discipline from a basis of humiliation and putting them down or using negative language. So this goes back to yourself again. If you think in a positive way about yourself and you use positive language to describe yourself and to discipline yourself, because we do discipline ourselves in our own minds, think about how you talk to yourself. So if you use that language with yourself, you will automatically use it with your children. So again, you may need to visit this and see, how do I talk to myself? Well, am I now reflecting that onto the children? And I've spoken before about how our parents modelled discipline, and how our parents have modelled how they spoke about themselves and how they spoke to you as a child will be how you speak to your children. It's an automatic habit that we will fall back into unless we have gone to therapy or we've made very conscious efforts to change our way of thinking and deliberately change how we're going to discipline our children. We will revert back to how it was in our childhood. So think about it. Really, really think about, what am I saying to these children? What do I really want to communicate? Do I want to communicate from a position of love, or do I want to? Am I communicating from a position of humiliation? So, and I hope not. I hope that you are, and I'm sure you are, doing it from a place of love and acceptance, and that you are using discipline in a positive manner and as a teaching tool rather than as I said, negative and humiliation. There's just a couple more points, I think. Oops, go their way. Yeah. Now, going back to the general learning disabilities and any disability, the one thing that parents come up against will be a prejudice. Unfortunately, our children will be faced with prejudice. There are people out there who don't understand different conditions, do not understand how to treat another human being with respect and with love. And so you are going to have to make sure that your home is a safe haven, for starters, that you are building their self-esteem and their self-confidence on a daily basis from the time they're born. You show them respect and you communicate with them. So from that basis, obviously, that they will be better able to handle prejudice, and that they know that you have their back and that you will stand up for them. Now, there are wonderful groups out there who will help you. There's Enable Ireland, and I have listed a whole load of people, a whole lot of bodies on the blog this week that can help you. Enable Ireland also will help you fill out some forms that you might need as a parent. Because the forms for getting entitlements, financial aid, or whatever else you need to get for your child can be mind-boggling and quite lengthy and difficult to fill out. So Enable Ireland will help you with that. They do have representatives that can help you with that. The staff in the HSE are very nice. They will, the particular question you have, I'm sure they would be very happy to help you fill that form out. So there are other voluntary groups around for different disabilities, Asperger's, dyslexia, whatever it is, autism. There are lots and lots of groups out there, and each one of those would be very happy to help you fill out forms, or they can talk to you over the phone about, what you need to do, how you need to help your child. And I would encourage you to contact these people, these bodies, these volunteer groups as soon as you have a diagnosis. So as soon as you have a diagnosis, get in touch with these people. They have support groups around the country that can help parents, help children. They have workshops. So I would join them. I would meet up with other parents. It's a great way for you to talk about what's going on in your life, how difficult it can be to have a child with a disability, and to hear from other people, to hear from other parents how they're coping. And there will be parents there that are ahead of you. If your child is a little longer, so they are ahead of you in the process, and your child could only be a toddler, their child could be a teen. So talking to these people, they know all the different ways in which you can help your child. They know all the different ways in which you can access services, what hurdles you have to look out for, and they have a wealth of information. So this is another reason to join these organisations and have a chat with parents at a local level, not just a support team for you, but to support your child. So a bit of a mix-up, and I know I can see from the live cam that this is broken down a number of times, and it's the weather. Unfortunately, it's rural Ireland, and broadband is disastrous here, I think. So I will leave it at that this morning. Have a lovely Valentine's Day. I hope you're doing some self-love today, as well as giving to other people. And I know it's midterm for some parents too this week. So enjoy and use the time to have a little one-to-one time with your child, or to build some skills. Maybe because the weather it's a bit disastrous today. It really was. It was lovely the last 2 days, and we were able to get out. But today it's a day for the fire if your child is off school. So maybe baking, or some indoor things that you can do with them, colouring, whatever. That you can, to build their self-esteem, and maybe spend a little one-to-one time with them if possible, or this evening. It might be nice. I'm sure they'll give you a Valentine's card, but it might be nice if they got one too from you. So I'll leave it at that, and don't forget to check out the blog. It's at www.deborahbyrnepsychologyservices.com/blog, and I'll see you next Wednesday for our next live video. Thank you.